Hello, welcome to Telecom Weekly, your flagship program on Telecom and ICT. Telecom Weekly aims at educating, informing and updating you with the latest trends, issues, news and developments in the telecom and ICT sectors, particularly in Nigeria. The program is brought to you by the telecom regulator, the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC. I am your host, Oluwatobi Enitan. Once again, welcome. Annual Telecom Executives and Regulators Forum held in Lagos. NCC reiterates commitment to strengthening telecom infrastructure. Also in this edition, we have a review of how the telecom sector has contributed to the nation's GDP in the second quarter of the year. Plus, we bring you deliberations from the 11th edition of the African School on Internet Governance, which serves as a prelude to the main event, the African Internet Governance Forum, which commences on the 19th of September 2023 in Abuja. This is the outlook for today's episode. Please stay with us.
On NCC Telecom Weekly, we bring you innovations, trends, policies, and stakeholders redefining all sectors of our economy today. Here, you will see the actors, policymakers, and creativity that will shape your mind and businesses for growth in line with today's reality. Join us every Monday on NTA Network, 10 p.m. and every Friday on Radio Nigeria FRCN Network, 8 p.m. NCC, Connecting Nigeria.
The annual Telecom Executives and Regulators Forum, hosted by the Association of Telecom Companies of Nigeria, ACCON, has been held in the nation's Commercial North Center, Lagos. At the event, NCC expressed that building a vibrant national broadband plan is key to the digital economy drive of the federal government, in line with the aspirations of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration.
The telecommunications sector's contribution to Nigeria's gross domestic product, GDP, has significantly increased to 16% in the second quarter of 2023, according to Professor Umar Garuba Dambata, the EVC of the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC. Professor Dambata stated this in his keynote address at the annual Telecom Executives and Regulators Forum hosted by the Association of Telecom Companies of Nigeria, ATCON, in Lagos.
Contribution of the sector to GDP stands at 16%. This is the highest contribution we have recorded, to date. And I shared this information to the Honorable Minister of Communications, Innovation and Economy the other day, Roma also, and asked whether he has seen this. In fact, the contribution of the ICT and communication sector, to the GDP contribution to the economy stands at close to 20%.
The EVC, while speaking on the theme, success factors and barriers to national broadband and digital economy aspirations, further articulated a list of the Commission's achievements since he assumed office, some of which he highlighted.
We daily engage consumers, we educate them about what they can protect themselves and empower them in order to ensure they enjoy communication services in a manner that is affordable. And that is why all our numbers, the toll-free ones, the 622, the 2442, are very, very active. And of recent, the 112.
In his welcome address, Mr. Tony Mokere, the president of AFCON, revealed that the association has since inception been able to contribute to the development of the industry because of the support from the EVC and the NCC.
At this forum, we intend to discuss challenges that have constituted a stumbling block to our sector growth. For example, removal of surrounding national infrastructure challenges will have a positive effect in the sector, which will culminate in further investments and rapid growth and spread of broadband services. This sector is a fast-growing sector.
Also speaking at the event, Dr. Vincent Olatunji, the National Commissioner and CEO, Nigeria Data Protection Commission, in his remarks, gave insight into efforts by his organization in furthering data privacy for all Nigerians and other related issues.
Nobody going digital, and whatever we do, we need to exchange our personal information. There is our name, which are telephone numbers, our name in the case of Nigeria, passport numbers, bank accounts. All these are personal information which will change your identity. And some refer to as sensitive personal data. For instance, your health records, your biometric information, your political lineage, your legal learning, and so on. These are things that will change your identity. And there is need for you to take ownership of your identity.
The Telecom Executives and Regulator Forum is an industry thought leaders event put together by ATCON, a telecom interest advocacy group that has over the years remained a strategic partner to the NCC.
In recognition of the significance of telecommunication infrastructure in the provision of effective telecom services, the NCC has continued to implore for their protection. The important role played by stakeholders came to the fore at the meeting of the Industry Working Group on Multiple Taxation and Regulations in the Telecom sector, which held in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital.
The Nigerian Communications Commission (NCC) has conveyed its inclination towards taking necessary regulatory actions to boost telecom infrastructure, promote industry growth and market development. Barrister Adeleke Adeolu, Executive Commissioner Stakeholder Management (NCC), made this declaration while addressing stakeholders at the meeting of the Industry Working Group IWG on multiple taxation and regulations in the telecom sector, which held in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, highlighting the industry's achievements since the establishment of the IWG over 20 years ago. Barrister Adeleke noted that the forum is geared towards ensuring an enabling environment for the sector to thrive. NCC Executive Commissioner Stakeholder Management, who described telecommunications as a sector-wide essential public utility, emphasized the need for continuous implementation of reforms that will stabilize the industry in Nigeria.
As you know, telecommunications is pretty much almost like an essential public utility. Because everybody, every way of life, government relies on this digital infrastructure, education is enabled by this, health is enabled by this, commerce, small business, financial services are all enabled by this. So it's important that we have an environment where these facilities are able to be laid appropriately, serviced appropriately, maintained appropriately. The operators pay the requisite taxes, the state governments get the requisite revenues, and generally Nigerian people can enjoy the full benefits of a truly digital economy.
In his remarks at the event, Mr. Gbolahan Awonuga, Executive Secretary, Association of Licensed Telecom Operators of Nigeria, ALTON, supported the views of the NCC as it relates to the entrenchment of a robust telecom industry. He, however, pleaded with the state and local governments in the country to consider the wider implications of the current imposition of multiple taxation on telecom services, a practice, he says, is harmful to industry growth.
Some communities that are not they are not economically viable. If not that NCC said you should have those sites there, I don't think operator will have any business going to those places. And those are the issues we are having with rural telephoning. If government is not saying they want to subsidize, I don't think you will see any operator going there, because by the time you put that mast there, government doesn't want to know whether you are making money or you are not making money. The next thing you will see is that all manners of levies. And before we put a mast, there is always an approval from the state government. You cannot see any mast anywhere without the state government approving it, for us paying the necessary fee for those masts.
The regional stakeholders meeting, which serves as a credible platform for articulating industry concerns and providing solutions to such pressing issues, was attended by senior executives of the telecom licensees and their umbrella body, ALTON, as well as staff of the commission.
The program is Telecom Weekly, sponsored by the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC. Stay with us as we now take a break.
The federal government of Nigeria is set to host internet stakeholders from 54 African countries and stakeholders from other continents at the 2023 Africa Internet Governance Forum, AFIGF. The annual forum themed Transforming Africa's Digital Landscape, Empowering Inclusion, security and innovation is scheduled to take place at the Transcorp Hilton Hotel, Abuja, from September 19 to 21, 2023. Prelude to the main event, other preliminary engagements of the annual event such as the African School on Internet Governance on 13th to 18th September, African Youth Internet Governance Forum on 18th September, and the Parliamentarian Session on 18th to 19th September 2023 will respectively take place as forerunners to the main forum. These sessions will bring together young experts, policy makers, business leaders, academia, civil society organizations, and other stakeholders to discuss leveraging innovation for sustainable development and youth empowerment. Registration details are available on the AFIGF, NCC website, and social media handles. Don't miss out on this unparalleled opportunity to be part of this exciting and insightful event.
The sustained regulatory excellence and operational efficiency of the telecom regulator, the Nigerian Communications Commission, has continued to contribute significantly to the nation's gross domestic product, as attested to by data published by the National Bureau of Statistics. Our next story is a review of the telecom sector's contribution to the nation's GDP in the second quarter of 2023.
The telecommunications sector plays an important role in the socio-economic development of any country. The industry's value chain is a wide network of connected services that embrace every aspect of the economy. Data from National Bureau of Statistics shows that telecommunications sector's contribution to the nation's gross domestic product, GDP, has increased significantly to 16% in the second quarter of 2023. Through sustained regulatory excellence and operational efficiency as the industry regulator, the efforts of the Nigerian Communications Commission NCC have become more apparent by way of robust policy frameworks, promotion of investment and funding, stimulation of infrastructure development, enhancements of digital literacy and inclusion, promotion of competition, as well as market liberalization.
The contribution of the telecom industry to our economy is massive. If you also look around, you can see anywhere you go, you will see people doing data, so many employment being generated in the sector. So, to some extent, telecom industry in Nigeria is contributing greatly to our economy.
In the GDP, federal government has really benefited through the broadband services and the licenses to these telecom operators, MTN and the rest of them, internet services and the likes, you see. And secondly, they've contributed a lot in the economy and the ease of doing business.
With an initial investment profile of $500 million as at 2001, the country subsequently attracted $75.6 billion in investment through the telecommunications sector as of 2021. This amount covers foreign direct investment, FDI, and local investment respectively. In 2022, the sector also contributed a whopping 10.126 trillion naira as an aggregate quarterly contribution to the nation's GDP. The growth path has continued in 2023 as the sector delivered the sum of 2.508 trillion naira in terms of financial value contribution to the nation's GDP in the first quarter of the year. Other notable highlights of the industry's performance during this period is the generation of $820.8 million in revenue for the federal government from 5G spectrum license fees, with 5G subscriptions growing to over 60,000 in many cities in at least 12 states of the Federation. Economic activities have been positively impacted, further boosting the GDP through contributions from digital enhancement of other sectors of the economy. Another important development in the sector is the introduction of Starlink's broadband services, a satellite-based wireless broadband service with potential nationwide coverage, thus extending accessibility to digital services. The telecommunications industry growth statistics are a clear testimony to the impressive record of contributions to the economy. As of April 2023, the number of phone subscribers reached 223.6 million, resulting in a tele-density of 117%, while internet subscribers during the same period totaled 157 million, with a broadband subscription standing at 92 million, representing a 40% broadband penetration rate in the country.
The telecom sector really is doing a whole lot of things. given the fact that the entire world is going digital, we need telecommunication to be able to achieve a lot. They generate a lot of funds for the government, and all of these go to intimate us, for us to know that yes, the telecom sector is actually boosting the economy of Nigeria.
I want to commend the NCC for their contribution in improving the usage of the internet as well as its availability. Like presently now, we have faster internet speeds, and internet has also contributed to the nation's GDP.
It also helped me start my side hustle because I want to be a YouTuber, and like the internet connection will help me share my content to the world.
As an economic enabler and stimulant for growth, the success story of telecommunications sector in Nigeria over the past 2 decades has proved to be beyond infrastructural development. The availability, affordability and accessibility of telecommunication services has transformed lives and has positively impacted every other sector while ensuring the nation remains competitive in the world stage. However, the sector is not without its challenges. Some of the factors militating against it include the right-of-way issue with state governments, fiber cut, multiple taxation, digital divide and security issues amongst others. Nevertheless, the Commission has continued to handle these issues through regulatory framework, innovations, strategic partnerships and collaborations with industry stakeholders.
Our last report is coming from Abuja, the Nigerian capital, where key internet stakeholders converge from all over Africa and the rest of the world to interact, learn and make decisions on issues affecting internet governance in the continent. We got that covered for your listening delight.
The 11th edition of the African School on Internet Governance, AfriSIG, opened in Abuja, Nigeria's capital city, on Thursday, September the 14th, 2023, with the theme, African Union's Data Policy Framework. This marks the beginning of the schedule of events, preparatory to the commencement of the main event, the Africa Internet Governance Forum. AfriSIG provides a platform where individuals from diverse backgrounds, including but not limited to government, the academia, civil societies, entrepreneurs, parliamentarians and human rights activists converge as equals, enabling them to navigate their different perspectives regarding internet governance in Africa collaboratively. A key objective of the event is to foster partnership among people who are already playing leadership roles in internet policy making and regulation to share expertise on matters affecting internet and ICT sector on the African continent. Ms. Tura Aruna, an assistant director at the NCC, who gave the opening remark at the session, informed the Telecom Weekly crew that the 11th AfriSIG will discuss extensively how the African Union's data policy framework will impact service delivery in the internet ecosystem.
African countries have realized the huge potential of a robust digital economy to create new business opportunities, increase efficiency, contribute to sustainable development, and reshape the people's life. It is worthy to bear in mind that domestication, noting that different African countries have different economy, technical and digital capabilities of the framework by African countries, and the implementation of its key recommendations will position Africa as a strong partner and will enable Africa youth to participate and thrive in the global digital economy society.
Ms. Tura Aruna further added that the data policy framework derived from the digital transformation strategy will help reposition African societies and economies in a manner that allows the continent and its member states to harness digital technologies for local innovation.
Everybody has to come together to contribute, come up with feasible policies that can be domesticated. Yes, we have the general framework, but we need policies that can be domesticated in each African country and will work to provide a safer internet for us and a robust digital economy.
In an exclusive chat with Telecom Weekly, Mary Udoma, coordinator with the Africa Internet Governance Forum, highlighted the aims and objectives of the event.
Internet is like an elephant. If you touch the head, you think that's elephant. You touch the tail, you think that is all about elephant. So it is multifaceted, and so many actors are involved in setting standards, in agreeing on principles and norms that will govern the internet. So because if you talk about the internet, is it the radio, is it television, is it computer? So there are so many areas of internet that needs governance. And cybersecurity is a challenge. As the internet develops, we find out that there are challenges within the, talk about the social media and all the disinformation and misinformation. So how do we come together and see how we can use this this internet without infringing on other people's rights?
Henriette Esther Hoysens, Senior Advisor, Internet Governance Policy and Advocacy and Strategy, Association for Progressive Communications, in her remarks said participants are working on the African Union Data Policy Framework, which is a new framework adopted by member states at the 2022 forum in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. However, she noted that the national and sub-regional level implementation is in progress.
Every year, AfriSIC has a practicum where the participants actually have to produce an output document. This year, they are working on the African Union Data Policy Framework, which is a new framework that member states agreed to in 2022 in Addis Ababa. But now this framework needs to be implemented, and it needs to be implemented at national and sub-regional level. Otherwise, it just stays in Addis. And this year, what the participants will be doing, all the fellows, they'll be looking at that framework and developing guidelines and a policy brief about how it can be implemented at national level, but inclusively, in a way that looks at gender issues, at human rights issues, at digital inclusion issues, the inclusion of the poorest of the poor, people who don't have access.
Adeboye Adegoke, Senior Manager, Paradigm Initiative, throws more light on the AfriSIC and its overriding objective.
And when you talk about internet governance, you're also looking at, unfortunately, crimes on the internet, which is cybercrime that you were alluding to. But what this convening do, what it does is to let all the stakeholders understand their role in curbing this issue. So in the room, you'll probably find people from government, you find people from civil society organizations, you find people from the academics, you find people from even the technical community. So what is the role of each of those actors in curbing cybercrime, for example? So for example, you expect that government has responsibility in terms of law enforcement on putting laws in place, but civil society also has responsibility in terms of educating the public on cybercrime, but also working together with government so that laws that are introduced to curb things like cybercrime does not become a tool to also repress freedom, because that's what usually happens. You are trying to solve a problem, then you create a new problem.
At the end of the event, participants are expected to come up with resolutions that will focus on the domestication of the agreed framework, including issues of inequality, the global internet governance ecosystem, and the African institutional context for implementation. It is on this note that we welcome all participants to the serene city of Abuja as the African Internet Governance Forum takes off on the 19th of September 2023.
Envision Africa, vast in its expanse and vibrant in its cultures. Now bind it with a single powerful thread, the Internet. A connection as limitless as the Sahara and as intricate as the ancient roots of the Iroko tree. Against the backdrop of our planet's vast digital theater, Africa doesn't merely participate, it pioneers. This is a testament to a rich tapestry of cultures dancing seamlessly with the beats of modern innovation. In this burgeoning digital age, the African Internet Governance Forum, AFIGF, takes the helm. Its mission goes beyond dialogue. It's about carving out Africa's unified place in the global digital narrative. 2023 shines a light on Abuja, Nigeria, as the honored AFIGF host, where nations converge and legacy intertwines with advancement. Stand at the nexus of transformation. Hear from visionary keynote speakers from all around Africa, from September 19th to the 21st. Be a part of something monumental. Register, engage, and together, let's co-create our future. AFIGF 2023, transforming Africa's digital landscape, one idea at a time.
Well, we have come to the end of this week's episode of Telecom Weekly. But before we go, don't forget you can always be a part of this program by joining us via multiple social media platforms. For inquiries on this program, you can send a mail to telecomweekly@ncc.gov.ng. For further details on the activities of the Commission, feel free to visit our website www.ncc.gov.ng. Telecom Weekly is brought to you by the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC. Until we come your way again next week, remember, take advantage of us so no one takes advantage of you. I am Oluwatobi Enitan saying bye for now.